Work on your gardens now. There's a lot you can do, even in wintertime, to get your garden set up and ready for next year. Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness, and this is what we're talking about today. I'm going to show you some things we're working on, some things we accomplished today, some things that we've been in progress of doing, and what are some of the things that you can be doing now, even in the dead of winter, to start preparing your garden. Even if your entire yard, whatever it may be, your entire area is covered in snow, well, get out there with a shovel. Shovel it all away. Build yourself a raised bed. Even if you just get it built. Or if you just can't do that right now, you can start gathering the materials to build raised beds, to do in-ground gardening. You can start procuring seeds, any of the building materials, the tools you might need. We need to grow everywhere. My wife is having a prompting, a feeling, a thought, a calling, whatever you want to call it, that we need to plant everywhere. We need to plant seeds everywhere we possibly can. So we will be building probably a lot more raised beds. We have 12 now. Actually, you'll see in this video, we just added 13. We will be adding 13 as we build this raised bed. But I would like to at least double that, if not triple it. And we are also, we've been thinking about this for a long time now. We're taking a proactive approach, and we will be taking actions to start building a chicken coop and getting chickens in here and some ducks, so we can have eggs and meat. I think that I don't really care for duck. It's a little greasy for me. Would I eat it if I had to? Yes, I would, definitely. But the ducks will be just for eggs, and the chickens will be for eggs and for meat if I can possibly harvest them when my wife isn't noticing. I'm kidding. She loves animals, so we may have to have 2 batches. We have to have egg chickens, her ladies, and that she makes friends with and loves on, and then maybe my meat chickens may have to be in a separate area, because she's like, we wouldn't kill my dog, so she's like, I don't want to kill my ladies once I'm all friendly with them and stuff like that, get to know them all and name them and everything like that. So yeah, we'll see, but we're going to take a proactive approach on that. So stay tuned for the stuff that we've been doing today. Awesome progress. A little bit every day, right? As long as we do that, we're good to go. Alright, so here's that new raised bed I was talking about. Since winter time is the time to start working on and building our gardens. So you guys have seen the garden before. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, I'll show it more in a little bit. But this is a very simple raised bed. Got these cores here, the logs on either side, and I just used an old board that I had for the end pieces. And what I did with that is screws may be better, but I just nailed. What I did is I put 2 nails through this board in each log, and then 1 nail down at an angle so it will help so it doesn't pull out. I know it's kind of a cheesy way to do it, but it works. And this is the new raised bed. So what I got to do now with my awesome trusty steel is see how the logs aren't even. When I first started, I didn't realize that they were uneven length. So the 2 thicker logs you can see on the bottom are a little bit longer than the smaller logs on top. So I'm just going to trim that, and then I have another piece, another board like that I'm going to put on this end, and then in here using the hugelkultur method kind of works really well, which is we're just going to put like sticks, bark, compostable material, maybe some wood chips, just a bunch of different junk we find around the yard that helps us clean up the yard also. So we'll just throw that in the bottom of it before we put in the topsoil and put in like our garden mix compost and stuff. We'll probably use all these old sticks right here that have been just laying around since our summer fires, which, yeah, we could use them and have winter fire, but some of them you can see, like this one's already all rotten and moldy and stuff like that. So that'll be really good. That's what we'll do. So I'm going to make these cuts and then put this end on, and I'll give you more updates, and then we'll talk about what I'm doing with some of the other raised beds to get them ready for next season. Okay, so as you see, trimmed them nice and even. on either side so our other end board can go on there. So that's the next step. Throw the end board on there and that'll be totally built. Then we'll start filling it. Okay, so the other end cap is on. Nails I used, hammer I used. So what I ended up doing actually on these is I put this in at an angle like this one in an angle like that on these. So it holds it in place better so it won't work its way off the board. I'm not a carpenter, so by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, there may be a better way of doing things, but that's the way I did it. So I think it turned out pretty well. That's our new raised bed. So now we're going to start adding stuff in and we'll show you what we're doing with that. Alright, so I jumped the gun. I had already started putting some of this yard waste, clean up the yard, around into the raised bed. And then I realized, you know, I don't want weeds growing up around in it. So let's lay down a bunch of junk cardboard first, right? Great way to get rid of used old nasty cardboard that you're not going to use. Instead of paying to get rid of it or recycling it, this is a way to recycle it because it will compost down in the bottom of the bed and it'll help stop the weeds from growing through it. Got a bunch of compost that's been sitting in this bucket for a while, I'll also dump in there. And then like I was saying, yard waste, just stuff, you know, laying all over the yard. Clean up your yard, any organic material, throw it in the raised bed. If you haven't heard about hugelkultur method, it's mound gardening. It's an ancient Germanic tribal way of gardening. Research it, check it out. It's I found it to work very well. So I kind of do a modified little sort of hugelkultur type thing in the bottom of my raised beds with all this organic compostable material before I put in my dirt to give the soil lots of nutrients. These big logs, or not big logs, but any kind of logs you put in there help retain moisture. So it will help the soil retain moisture. And as it rots, it just composts down. So it works really well. So first step, or next step, is to put all these cardboard boxes in the bottom of the raised bed. Okay, so the first layer of cardboard is down. Actually, that's several layers, but that's kind of like the initial layer. And make sure you take off as much of the, you know, tape as possible, any kind of stuff that won't compost as possible. You know, little bits here and there, no big deal. It'll just be down there in the dirt for a while. So that's what it looks like so far. And then I got a bunch of these boxes sitting outside. They're already all rotten and composting. So I'm going to lay them down also. Why not? You know, get rid of stuff. I got this old wicker basket lid. And then a bunch of junk we're going to put on there, some compost. And we'll get back to that in a minute. But first I want to show you another raised bed and what we're doing. Alright, here's another raised bed that we're working on preparing. It is a single layer, as you can see. It's not, you know, 2 boards tall like that one. It's just single layer. And we started hugelkultur, and here are a bunch of branches, and there's some logs in there. So we wanted to make this a double layer bed, and so we're going to do that this year. We're going to add another layer, another board, just like that one is, to this one, and then add a bunch of dirt and topsoil and stuff like that to it. So because right now we can't grow any root vegetables in it because there's a bunch of logs and twigs and stuff, you know, branches and stuff down in there under the dirt, right under the surface. So to make it more usable, we are going to be adding a second layer. So what am I doing? What's all this stuff in it? This is all compost stuff. This is, as you can see, egg cartons shredded up, cardboard shredded up, cut up, compostable material. You know, you see some banana peels in there I didn't cut up. But I was trying to get it in a situation where all the stuff is small. And you see carrot greens from harvesting our last carrots. And other things that there's some arugula that I just pulled up that's going to seed. So that's what we're doing. And that'll be easily compostable material. So then it'll be ready for when we put on the second level and then cover with dirt. So that's another thing you can do in the off season to prepare your beds, is to do stuff like this. And even if you're not adding a level, what you can do is remove a bunch of the dirt. Like say it's this bed, you could just remove a bunch of the dirt, put all this kind of stuff in this bed, and then put the dirt back on. So all this stuff will be composting down over the winter and everything like that, giving your garden good nutrients. This is something I've learned, and yeah, I think it's going to work really well. All right, looking good. We got a bunch of the almost falling apart, some of it was falling apart, nasty cardboard that sat outside for a while. So we got rid of a bunch of that. I may even actually, just to get rid of it, I think I'm going to throw a little bit more on there just to get rid of it, because I got a big pile sitting next to my compost pile that had like rotten fruits and vegetables and stuff like that in it that you put in the compost pile. Some of the boxes had tape and stuff like that, so I didn't get a chance to take all the tape off, put them in the compost pile. So I think I'm just going to get rid of some more of it here in this raised bed. Then I'll start throwing some of this other organic material in there and show you that. So yeah, I think I'm going to grab some more boxes. Alright, so an executive decision was made. I didn't feel it was deep enough. So we had another log. Trimmed it, nailed it in, angled nails, put some compostable material in there from the yard, put in these little cross members to tie the logs together, one on each side, trimmed them with a chainsaw. So now we got a 3 log tall raised bed. And here in the end, because this board here isn't that like super whammadine or anything like that, I may do like cross members or something in addition to that to help strengthen it. We'll see what I come up with. This is one of those redneck raised beds that turned out really well. This is going to be an awesome raised bed. And how much did it cost me? A little tiny bit of chainsaw fuel and a couple nails. That's what it cost me. Alright, so here's my solution to give some extra strength to the end here. I had this piece here. It's like part of an old, I don't know what it was, an old piece of furniture that I put up there to give the ends extra strength. So it's not the greatest, okay, it's not the greatest, but it will give the end a little more strength. And I sawed the ends off there so we don't get caught on them and stuff like that. The kids are running around, no sharp edges, but looking really good. Already got a bunch of good stuff in there. And I just talked, actually let me show you this end first also. I got this one cross member here, right there, that's thicker as you see, and then this board that goes up and ties it across like that, just for extra strength, just to make sure. But what I was just going over and taking my neighbor a gallon of fresh unpasteurized raw farm milk, because that's what Tribe does and they love it. He grew up on it, and he grew up drinking this stuff on a farm. So we took him over some stuff, and he reminded me of his all the chicken manure he has. So for me to grab it. So we're about to grab the wheelbarrow and a shovel and get a bunch of chicken manure that he has dumped in a hole down on his one of his fields. So then we're gonna throw that in there also. That'll be awesome. Throw some dirt in there, mix it up, and this raised bed will come along really well. I'm really happy about this raised bed. It is gonna be awesome. It's like the log cabin raised bed. Well, it's really similar to this one. Same logs we used on this one right here. It's just this one's too tall. Maybe we will turn this one into a 3 tall also. I could do that very easily, just add another log on either side and then a cross member. So we'll see. This raised bed is awesome though. I'm really happy with it. It's coming along really well. This is all stuff we need to be doing, people. We need to be building raised beds now, getting them ready to plant now, gathering our seeds, all the stuff we need to be doing now. I get it's winter time, but the more we get done now, the better prepared we are for spring, and the better prepared we are to grow food, produce food, and all those things. And I just had a discussion with my wife. We are going to be getting some chickens and ducks very soon. So I'm going to start talking to my tribe about getting some help building some chicken and duck coop homes and stuff, and going through that process. So then we'll have our own protein also, which would be very awesome. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. But yeah, we'll see. Just a sec for the next part. Okay, got a load of this stuff, chicken manure, in my wheelbarrow. Now I got to get it all the way up the hill. But this is where he just dumps his chicken manure and stuff. So it's really good compostable material. So I took some out. Obviously there's a lot more, so I'll probably come back several times to get a bunch more stuff to use for the new raised bed. But this is a little bit of our area. Here is the chicken manure offloaded out of the wheelbarrow into the raised bed. So this will be it for the progress on this raised bed today. I got some other stuff to do, but that's pretty darn good progress. Built and started, partially prepared, an entire raised bed. These are the things that we got to start doing, people. We got to start preparing our gardens. While I'm talking to you, I'll just kind of walk around. If you haven't seen my garden in a while, we'll show you my garden. A lot of it's like redneck, together, pieced together. MacGyver-ish type thing. And I don't say redneck in a derogatory term at all whatsoever. But yeah, I just put stuff together and made it work. And it does. So you'll see all different kinds of materials in these different raised beds. You'll see the containers that I plant in. Usually I use those for like 2 years because I know plastic will leach, the chemicals will leach into the dirt. So I use them for like a year or two. These I probably only use 1 year. The heavier duty black totes that I also use, I'll probably use for 2 years. But yeah, that's a concern, but you know, you can still use them. This is a raised bed I got from my neighbor, but all this kind of stuff. And this is another one that I have been throwing a bunch of, you can see some rotten material there. You see leafy stuff, that's not growing. That's partially buried underneath soil. So as raised beds settle, because this had a bunch of organic material in the bottom of it also, so it's settling. I'm throwing more organic material and more soil in. And then using the soil from things like that, the containers and these containers, to top these beds off, as well as more topsoil and garden mix and stuff like that that I'll be getting. This was our attempt at a fall garden with beets, but then we had that really hardcore cold snap here where it was snowmageddon and it was 11 degrees. So they're probably not going to make it, but it's okay. No big deal. I'll just throw dirt on top and they can just compost down. Drew some artichokes are in this bed, sunchokes. They will be covered with a little more dirt as it's settling. It's, that's what happens. They settle. And then you just add more stuff. We may add another board to that, make it higher, make it taller. And things like this. Pallet. I'm going to be getting a bunch more pallets very soon. So I'll be doing some more pallet raised beds. I just used a 2x4 kind of as the frame, 2x4 frame, and then tied them together with a pallet wood using all different kinds of screws, nails, all kinds of stuff to hold it together. Because, you just do what you do. And I use my etc. nail and screw box and stuff. This raised bed is just 2 bigger logs tied together with a couple boards. Like I say, make do. Use what you got. Save money. But this is all stuff you can be doing now. You can be preparing now. You can be getting this stuff, building your beds. There's some strawberries, so hopefully they'll last through the winter. And doing stuff like this, preparing beds. So I hope this encourages you guys to get out and do your gardening things now, even though, yes, it is not garden season. But doing things like this new raised bed, yes, awesome. I'm really happy with the outcome. So I hope you guys are doing this kind of stuff. All right, to wrap it up, here I am next to our new raised bed. I'm really proud of this thing. I think it looks really nice. Here, take a look at it really quick. Yeah, you guys have seen it. I think it turned out really nice. I'm really proud of it. And yeah, we're going to continue adding some more stuff to it. I'm going to throw in some topsoil. Then I think I'm going to get some of the fish compost mix in this raised bed. Before we've used steer manure mix, garden mix, and we've used mushroom compost mix. I haven't used the fish stuff yet. My neighbors have really good luck with it, so that's probably what's going to go in this bed, and that's probably what we'll get to top off the other raised bed. So anyway, I hope this encourages you guys to get out and do the things and realize that you may not have this kind of material laying around. I don't know what you have laying around. Maybe you have a bunch of cinder blocks. Whatever you have laying around and or can get cheap or find or get from friends or neighbors, this is why community building is important. You may be able to get some stuff like this for free. So build raised beds or in-ground gardening whatever it is. Set yourselves up for success. Get everything ready, squared away as much as possible for next growing season. We need to plant everywhere. We need to grow food for everyone. We need to do all this stuff. Very, very important. Very important. Please subscribe, hit the like button, comment below, and stay tuned for a lot more hands-on videos like this. Try to get a lot more involved without doing this stuff like this. It's hard, bad weather and stuff like that. We just want to bunker in inside and stuff like that. But, we need to get out and start doing some more stuff like this. So we are going to start doing more stuff like this. So like I said, stay tuned for more videos like this. Anyway, I really do hope this encourages you guys to do the same kind of things. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day and blessings to you and yours.